unfortunately the audio was still on, or fortunately it was on, because you got to hear what so many people didn't know in this courtroom, and that was Mr. Struthers had been arrested. And it's unfortunate, but it happened, and not to discuss his business or probation violation or whatever, but I tell you what, the manner in which it was done and the comments that this head chief officer, our mayor, what he whispered in his ear and told him, have a nice evening in jail, it was all staged. It was a setup. And they knew what they were doing. But I tell you, and Mr. Struthers will say in the credit of the chief of police, he did say that he didn't want it to happen in the manner in which it was, and he quietly escorted him out. And that took a courage of a chief to defy maybe the mayor's decision to do it in a spectacle type of manner. But to deny any human being the right of a call. This gentleman here used his cell phone to call me during our council meeting, but I could not answer that phone because we were in session. But I saw it ringing. Six of us, 6 members, some here this evening, were concerned about Mr. Struthers and met at 11:30 that night. Unbeknown to many of you in the audience, but council does in fact care about our residents. This gentleman asked for help at a council meeting and couldn't get it. So my concern was to see, did he at least get his call? Did he need anything? Did he need me to take the camera or cell phone? Did he need members of council to call his place of employment? Well, we were assured that Mr. Struthers would receive the call. Would receive the call that he could make to his business, to his employment, to his family. What we later discovered, this did not happen. So we got out of our beds. Well, we didn't go to bed. We were still in meetings. We stayed up here. It was Councilman Baker, Council Vice President Lewis, myself, Ms. Ewing from the audit committee, Mr. Severa from the audit committee. It was another resident here in the audience who was here as well. And we were concerned about someone who's been concerned about council. And all we wanted to know was to make sure he had his call. He did not get it, and that alarmed all of us. To hear the conditions of that jail, that there are mice that we've heard before, that there are bed bugs, that they don't have sheets, that they don't have a service where you put sheets and mattresses. They're sleeping on a mat, or a cot, on a bed without a coverage, that they're being served food with the K8 portions, not as an adult portion, but child portions. Sometimes the food is ice cold, just frozen, and they take it out, and it's not an appropriate type of food. Those are all concerns we all should have, and at some point there should be legislation that we can do something about this, because at some point no human being should have to endure that kind. And to hear that there are no adequate water,
no toilet paper,
the toiletries aren't there, and if they're not taking showers, and it's not just him saying it, other individuals throughout this community who've experienced this shouldn't have to experience that. I've worked in 2 state prisons here in Ohio, Trumbull Corrections and downtown. And both of those facilities, they gave them the appropriate opportunities to bathe, to make the calls, to be treated like human beings. And that's all we ask here. And if something should happen, I think we need to start an investigation. We need to look into why this has happened. If there's funds that could be designated for that, it needs to happen. But at some point, something has to be done. Because this should not go, and I'm sorry to hear that you went through that and what you're going through. Hopefully there'll be a resolve in the near future. I don't know what actions you plan to take. But residents, if you've experienced that, you should contact the council. And let us know, because enough is enough at this point. At this point, we're going to move the agenda.